You're not lazy, you're not broken, and you're not lacking discipline, but there is a reason you keep starting and stopping. A reason you keep saying tomorrow instead of today. And it's not the world holding you back, it's something much closer. It's you. Your entire life, you'll be trying to grow into the person you know you're capable of becoming. But strangely, the biggest obstacle on that journey isn't failure, it's resistance. Every dream you quietly abandoned, every habit you promised you'd change, every time you told yourself, I'll start tomorrow. None of that was blocked by your circumstances. It was blocked by an invisible force inside you. And the moment you understand how that force works, everything changes. You stop fighting yourself. You stop self-sabotaging. You build self-trust, emotional intelligence, and access a version of yourself you've never reached before. This is the core message of The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest. And in this video, I'll show you why you sabotage yourself and how to finally turn that pattern into growth. The mountain inside you. There's a feeling you carry every day, a quiet heaviness you never talk about. So instead of facing it, you scroll, you distract yourself, you say, just 5 more minutes. Because deep down, there's something you know you should do, a conversation you keep avoiding, a decision you don't want to face. A step that would change everything, if only you took it. You think about it, and suddenly your chest tightens, your stomach twists, so you push it to later. But later always comes, and that tiny act of avoidance slowly becomes the biggest mountain in your life. Here's the truth most people never realize. The mountain blocking your life isn't the world. The mountain is inside you. It's built from unmet needs, unprocessed emotions, and fears shaped by your past. This is self-sabotage. And it has nothing to do with laziness. Your subconscious isn't trying to stop you from succeeding. It's trying to protect you from change. Because to your brain, change feels dangerous. Carl Jung once explained that the unconscious mind will do anything to keep you in what feels familiar, even if that place is painful. So a conflict forms. One version of you wants to grow, another version wants to stay safe. That tension creates the mountain. And just like real mountains form from pressure underground, your internal mountain is formed from emotional pressure you've been carrying for years. What self-sabotage really looks like. Self-sabotage isn't dramatic. It feels comfortable. It looks like perfectionism, overthinking, and avoidance, constant restarting, pride disguised as independence. It looks like leaving the job application open, but never submitting. Staying in a relationship that drains you. Planning a new habit every Sunday and quitting by Wednesday. Dreaming of a new future while behaving like the old you. The real damage isn't obvious. It's slow. Every time you avoid what matters, a piece of you shrinks. Your confidence fades. Your self-trust weakens. And eventually, you start believing, this is just who I am. But that belief isn't truth. It's a symptom. As Brianna Wiest says, everything begins with honesty. Self-sabotage isn't your enemy. It's a protective response to old wounds. The first step. Make the mountain visible. So what's the first real step forward? Write. Write what isn't working. Write your fears. Write the patterns you keep repeating. Write what you're afraid to say out loud. Because once fear leaves your head and hits the page, it loses its power. The mountain takes shape, and only then can you climb it. The hidden cycle running your life. Every internal mountain is held up by a loop. A psychological pattern so familiar, you mistake it for your personality. On the surface, it looks like procrastination. Underneath, it's the same cycle repeating over and over. Here's how it works. An unmet emotional need leads to a protective behavior to self-sabotage to a fixed identity to fear strengthened, repeat. So if you feel stuck, it doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're protecting yourself from emotions you were never taught how to face. Overworking might hide loneliness. Overspending might numb emptiness. Seeking validation might mask dissatisfaction. These behaviors aren't random. They're emotional echoes. And beneath them are what Wiest calls unconscious commitments, emotional contracts you never realized you signed, commitments to safety, control, familiar pain, You don't repeat patterns because you want to. You repeat them because your mind is following rules you never questioned. Ask yourself, what problems keep repeating? What emotions trigger me most? What fear sits beneath my reactions? What do I want, but push away when it gets close? Once you see the loop, it becomes a map. Your emotions are not the enemy. Your emotions aren't threats. They're signals. Anger points to crossed boundaries. Sadness points to loss. Guilt reveals violated values. Shame shows misalignment with who you believe you are. But most of us were taught to silence emotions, not understand them, so they don't disappear. They grow louder. Some feelings come from intuition. Others come from old wounds. Others from anxiety. Learning the difference is emotional intelligence. Instead of asking, how do I stop feeling this? Ask, what is this emotion trying to tell me? When your needs are finally met, real needs like safety, rest, honesty, and connection, self-sabotage loses its grip. Why growth feels scary. Change triggers panic. Not because it's wrong, but because it's unfamiliar. Your nervous system craves predictability. This discomfort is called adjustment shock. Fear, doubt, exhaustion. These aren't signs you're failing. They're signs your brain is rewiring. Growth doesn't happen in giant leaps. It happens in small, consistent actions. Small steps build momentum. Momentum builds identity. Identity builds transformation. You don't wait to feel ready. You act first. Motivation follows.
Discomfort isn't danger.
It's proof you're growing. Letting go of who you had to be. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means facing what you never processed. Healing begins when you meet your younger self with compassion, not judgment. Letting go isn't losing who you are. It's releasing who you pretended to be to survive. And when that weight drops, the summit finally comes into view. Becoming your future self. You can't build a new future with an old mindset. Visualization gives your brain a destination, but action is what makes it real. Your future self sets boundaries, chooses priorities, acts intentionally. That identity stands on 4 pillars: self-validation, principles over inspiration, purpose that evolves, emotional awareness. Self-mastery. Self-mastery isn't control, it's leadership. You name the emotion, then you choose the response. That's how self-trust is built. Emotions stop being obstacles. They become guides. There's no final summit. Life stays meaningful because you keep choosing growth over fear. This is self-mastery.
This is the climb.
This is becoming who you were always meant to be.